Hello and welcome to HighCalibre TV, your source for figure and model updates every Wednesday and Friday. Today on Figure Friday, I'm going to be showing off 3 out-of-the-box vignettes and explaining why they're such fantastic value for your money. The first item is an Evolution Miniatures pair of Russian infantry with a wounded tanker fighting in the Chechen Republic. These figures, I call them an out-of-the-box vignette because all you need to complete them is a really simple base with scenery or without scenery, and they'd be able to tell a short story, which is what a vignette is. The great thing about this trio is that the 2 on the left are a single piece, and the remaining arms are cast as interlinking parts, so there aren't going to be that many gaps that need to be filled other than the ones here, which, I mean, that's standard fare for figures. There's a lot of really cool detail on these guys. Mainly, the parts that stand out for me are the tears in the clothing. The trousers, jackets, and the flak vests all have minor tears in them, but the really cool thing about these tears is that sometimes they'll have pieces of cloth drooping down, like hanging off where they were damaged, which is super cool. The next item I'm going to be showing is a Bravo 6 kit. It's a pair of US Navy SEALs in Vietnam. This is the 3rd item in their US SEAL line, and it's another fantastic addition. The same attention to detail and flawless casting that you come to expect from Bravo 6. This kit is depicting one of the earliest SEAL teams as they break contact with the communist forces in the jungle. The M60 gunner is laying down fire from the hip while he carries his mate to safety. He's actually carrying a really cool modified M60 pattern. He's taken off the front sight post, which means he's only going to be shooting from the hip, which is what he's doing. There's a lot of really cool details in this kit, but the one that I'm really excited about are his jeans. He's wearing denim jeans in the jungle, which I don't know why you'd wear denim in the jungle, but it's the 60s and 70s and it's rock and roll, you know, whatever. His mate, the wounded guy, has a really neat load-bearing jacket, like a hunting jacket that the US Army adopted, and it's really cool. It ties in perfectly with the weapon that he's carrying. You can't see it from here, but it's a modified M16 rifle with an underbarrel 40mm grenade launcher, which is the precursor to the now famous M203 40mm grenade launcher that everybody carries. But back then, this was the first replacement for the M79 thumper grenade launcher that you see everybody firing in Vietnam. Yeah, these guys are just another great addition to the Vietnam era of warfare that saw so many innovations and tactics, weapons that the US Army adopted to combat the communists in the jungle. The third item is one that I have personally been eyeing up. I may or may not be buying this from myself to use in a competition later this year. It's the US Marines in action in Vietnam. They're 2 US Marines plus a full resin wall. You get the whole wall, like the old Hobby Fan kits that I don't know if any of you have heard of. It's just great. There's 3 pieces. It's perfect. It's literally a full vignette in the box. You don't need anything else. There's all the sceneries here. There's a lot of really cool detail on the figures too. Mainly, what I love about these is that Evolution Miniatures were smart enough that they cast part of one of the M16 bandoliers, you know, the cloth pouches that they slung across themselves. They cast part of it as a separate piece, a separate chunk. So for any of you who've ever had to boil resin bandoliers to get them to conform, or if you've ever had to melt plastic bandoliers with something like T-Nax 7R to get it to conform, you know what a pain that can be. They've done it for you. It's in there. It's ready. It's conformed, and it fits perfectly. One of these fellas also has 2 cameras on him, which denote him as a combat correspondent. There's also, you know, tears in trousers, clothes. The fella vaulting over the wall, his pant leg that he's already thrown over the wall, the cuff of the pant leg is blown back a bit up his ankle, which adds a lot of animation and movement to the pair. There's also the Marlboro cigarette pack that they put in their helmet straps, which I love because it's red and white and it's an excellent contrast in color for what would normally be a more or less drab pair of figures. I'd have these guys, I'd say they're somewhere around Way City, 1968, the Tet Offensive, but I mean, they can be anywhere. Mid-60s, early 70s, that had a brick and mortar wall in it, which is South Vietnam, you know, whatever. All these figures and more are in stock at HighCaliberMiniatures.com. I'm going to put the link in the description below. Follow us on Pinterest, Twitter, and Facebook for the latest up-to-date arrivals, new figures that come in, or Alan and I's personal workbench photos that we put up. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.